Hi there, Ryan. How are you doing?
I am so frustrated. I have this new kid in my class, and he's a BD kid. And
Yeah.
I have to deal with him in my class, and I hate working with these kids because they never learn, they never listen, and they're always looking around for the next fun thing to do, which obviously isn't school, and so I can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't deal with these kids. I just can't do it.
Well, I'm really sorry that you're having these frustrations. And I'm also sorry that you've had these negative experiences with these kids before. I did place this student in your class on purpose because I felt that he needed the stronger role model, especially of a male figure.
Why?
And
I don't need kids like this. I hate kids like this.
no, and I can understand exactly where you're coming from. They are difficult. They are harder. They don't listen sometimes. But I also feel that this could help you as a teacher and modifying even some of your instruction. You're one of our best new teachers that we have. And I feel just that this would have been a good experience for you. So maybe there's a way that we can keep this student in your class and come up with a plan that benefits you, your other students, and our student that is an issue for you.
We could just take him out of my classroom and then we would eliminate any planning process and that.
See, I don't agree with that because I've seen peer tutoring or peer monitoring and peer groups and multiple other situations where I know this student is going to benefit greatly from being in your class. You do have a lot of the higher education kids, and when you look at this student's test scores, he's not unintelligent. He is a very smart child. He just needs patience. And like I said, I thought that a strong male role model, especially in the tougher subjects that he doesn't necessarily excel in, like math and science and even writing, because you are a very creative person, would help him especially because he does have problems with some female figures.
Okay.
So,
what do you mean some female figures? Has there been issues?
Just, not listening to his second grade teacher very often, nothing necessarily alarming or violent outside, but because he is a BD kid, he does have that label. And I think that if you were to implement a peer tutoring or a peer group for him that you knew the students well enough and you had those relationships built with them, that you paired them with our student, I feel as if this would be a great opportunity for him to socialize. It would be a really good opportunity for him to gain some responsibility in a general education classroom. He's already in my class for, a couple other subjects. You are a very energetic teacher, and he does need that energy. He does need a lot of different outlets. So looking at you, you were the best candidate, in my opinion, as a professional for him to be in your class. So looking at it from that perspective, I think that if you were to change maybe where he was sitting, maybe some classroom expectations for him, and even his peers around him, I feel as if he would blossom a lot more in that class.
Why do I have to change my classroom now? Is it because of this BD kid?
Well, to rephrase that, instead of changing a classroom, maybe adding more instructional movement. So more brain breaks, more getting up and doing things, more opportunities to stimulate movement according to learning. And there's been multiple studies that have shown students moving helps promote learning. And especially with him, since he does have a lot of energy, I think even finding those small distractors for him, so where it's like disguised, not as a lesson necessarily, would be good for him.
Okay.
So.
All right. I kind of feel like I like all the compliments you've been giving me, and I'm feeling a little better about this situation.
Okay.
Can I hear your kind of 4-step plan on what you would like to implement or what?
Of course, yeah. So.
And if it's all right, can I try and contribute some
stuff
to see if this will
Of course,
working
yeah.
out very well?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a partnership, not a dictatorship. So I am open to your comments and
Okay.
your questions, or your changes in that fact as well.
Right.
We are looking out for the student, so.
Absolutely.
So working with him in my classroom, the classroom expectations are that every 10 minutes he does get a break if he is continually working. I'm not saying in your class he has to do that because it is a different environment. But I think that if we were to start implementing more brain breaks or even like therapy options, just like something to stimulate
What
him.
about one of those behavior charts that rewards?
The
him?
chart
Or
move? The chart
one
moves?
with the smiley faces?
Yeah.
Or
And that's a super great idea. Awesome idea, actually.
Oh.
Because if we did a class, but our student was the helper that got to move the piece
Okay.
or add the marbles to the jar or something like that, I feel he would gain a lot more confidence and be like, yeah, no, I am doing something good. I am helping the class out. Like, these are my friends. And the kids would start to look up to him as well.
Okay.
So, and to avoid scapegoating even, you could offer him to pick a friend to do it, to help build social relationships.
Okay. Is he struggling with the social relationships
Um,
aspect?
He, at his
Because
new
I didn't know
school,
that. I thought you said he was just
at his
struggling
new
with
school, he
behaviors.
was, since he is a new student for us, I really want to focus on him being adapted in and having those new relationships and making friends right away, because the student isn't a BD kid. He is a kid.
How much time is he going to your room? Because that's going to eliminate some of that social
Of course.
skill development.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
He is in my room for 90 minutes a day, and then we have a para with him
Do you
a
think
couple
that's too
other
much,
times.
or do you think that's?
I would like to get it to where he only has to have a para, and every once in a while, if I need to come in, that would be appropriate. But like I said, I do feel as if him being in the general education classroom would best benefit him and his peers.
Okay.
So
How do you want to assess this? Do you think the behavior chart, or do you want to try and do one of your strategies for assessing this?
If we did the behavior chart for the entire class, it would help modify your classroom expectations and even give the whole group a reinforcement at the end of
Okay.
each class or at the end of each week or something like that. And he can have a small checklist, not anything largely visible by his classmates, to help with the being singled out for receiving services or having a negative reputation from his previous school, something like that. Does that make sense?
Sure. Just give me the resources or whatever
course.
you want me to do for the behavior stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll try and put a chart together.
Yeah.
And then you can sign off on it if you
Yeah,
want.
of course.
And then can we reassess it? In
Yeah, we
a
can
month
look at,
or two,
we can look at his, I'll look at his daily check sheets pretty much every day, and I'll keep data on those. And if his behavior and academics are improving in your class, then we will see where we go from there after a month. And we can look at the chart move for the whole class to see if the rest of the students are also benefiting from the adaptive instruction and more physical movement as well, to see if there's something else we need to do to make sure that everybody is gaining something from this experience.
All right, I'm impressed. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.